Aloha! You are listening to Inside the Desert Oasis Room, episode number 145. This episode is sponsored by Tandawai Rum, the world's largest rum producer and winner of over 170 international medals in the past 4 decades. Check out their webpage at tandawaiusa.com or follow them on Facebook or Instagram at tandawaiusa. This episode is sponsored by the Tiki Bar T-Shirt Club, where their monthly T-shirt designs pay tribute to a Polynesian bar or restaurant from days long past. Each design is available for a limited time and will never be produced again. For more information and to check out this month's shirt, visit tikibartshirtclub.com. Today we sit down with the crew from Frogtown Brewery and chat with their brewers and beertenders about their new Tiki Series of specialty beers. Learn about the process behind their popular Tiki-inspired Painkiller Milkshake IPA and hear a sneak peek of some of their exciting upcoming collaborations. As always, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did bringing it to you. If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a good rating. That helps people find the show and boosts our presence. Also, subscribing makes it easier for you to follow our adventures, and subscribers always get new releases first. You can find previous episodes at our website, desertoasisroom.com. as well as links to our social media, along with links to our guests' websites and their social media. Okay, let's get into this. Grab a beer and pull up a chair. Here's Adam, Gustavo, Hector, and Jonathan, recorded live from Frogtown Brewery.
Desert Oasis Room.
Alrighty. Aloha, party people. We're back with another episode of Inside the Desert Oasis Room. And we are here with the crew from Frogtown Brewery.
Hello.
How you doing?
What's up? Woo woo. Frogtown in the house. We've been partying all night. Tonight has been an epic night for Frogtown. We just had a Painkiller IPA release party.
Absolutely.
Right? Volcanics rocked the house.
They sure did.
Yep, amazing.
Still shaking.
And this IPA is actually I had it a few months ago. It's been out for a little bit, but this is the first time it's in cans, right?
First time we've done this beer in cans. It's been very, very much anticipated for us to do that. So we finally did it. Yeah.
People are asking me if it tastes like a Painkiller. And so my answer to them is it's Painkiller inspired, but it's still a beer.
It's still a beer. It's Painkiller inspired, so it plays on that like pineapple, coconut flavor coming out from an actual painkiller. But no, we're not the soggy dollar here. So.
Right. And it's good. Now, I'm going to say something. I'm not really an IPA guy because I think it's a little too bitter for my taste.
Yeah.
But that Painkiller is actually something that I would drink all the time.
Yeah, it's got a lot of hops in it, which people usually will reference hops to that bitterness. But we do a lot of what's called dry hopping in that beer, and we add a lot of hops later in the brew. So you get a lot of that citrus and flavor out of the hops rather than the bitterness. But it does have a little bitterness backbone to it too.
Yeah, well, that's just the nature of an IPA. Yeah. So
it's a fun one.
Just so our listeners know, the sexy man voice you're hearing is our boy Adam Kestel.
Yep,
and he's one of the owners and brewers here at Frogtown Brewery. So talk about the process of how you came up with the flavor for this beer.
Well, Painkiller is my favorite cocktail.
Yeah.
So that's what was inspiring to me to make this beer. So I wanted to make a beer that played on those flavor notes of that Painkiller cocktail, and how can I put that into a beer? And so that's where I was inspired to make this particular recipe.
So you just basically took the ingredients of a Painkiller and said, okay, I'm going to throw these into a recipe.
Yeah, I took the flavors of that cocktail and put it into beer format. as best I could. So how can I make these flavors play to a beer? Because you get some of those like not only is it pineapple, coconut, citrus, but like you do get some of those like vanilla notes from the rum. Obviously, we're not using rum here at all, so we artificially simulate those vanilla notes of the rum by actually using Madagascar vanilla beans in the beer as well. So like that was kind of an inspiration to me. Is like that was kind of a secret ingredient for a little bit in the first few batches of this to see how it played out. But yeah, that worked out well for us. So playing on those notes of like the rum barrel aging process and some of those vanilla notes that come out from the oak, we wanted to add that to the beer.
How many times do you have to go through a run to get the final product?
Hopefully not more than a couple, but we've got some experience here. So I've been doing this for a bit, so we're getting better at it. But this beer we've gone through 4 iterations of it to make it what it is today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you do that, are you doing just small batches?
We usually will do a full batch.
Okay.
So we're to the point where we'll do some small batch stuff if it's like extremely experimental.
Right.
But if it's something I'm pretty confident with, we'll do a full batch of it and see how it turns out and get feedback from the customers. And then we'll tweak it from there.
Okay. So you guys have seasonal beers that happen here. One of my favorites is that pumpkin beer.
Yeah.
That you guys do. I know you're not serving it right now. You've got a sour cherry beer that I've been enjoying tonight. It's kind of actually tastes like sour cherry candy is what I've been telling people. It tastes like the sour cherry candy.
Yeah.
I actually like it. I'm not really even a sour beer. So I like Hefeweizen. I like a wheat beer.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if you have anything right now on the menu. I didn't see anything, or maybe
the closest
I just
to
missed
that
it.
I have to be our Belgian white ale right now. Yeah, it's our 5.0 wit. Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't have this sour on my mind until the king of Frogtown over here, Hector, put one in a glass for me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. And there he is, party people.
You're welcome.
The king of Frogtown.
Hello.
And I would have never ordered that on my own. But actually, when I got a refill, I just said, well, you pick.
You so surprised you. I surprised you, didn't I?
Yeah, it was good. Actually, it was good. Like the first sip I had was, I thought, oh wow, this is really sour, but it's a good kind of sour. It's kind of like when you get that sour candy. I'm going back to the candy thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Where you take that bite where it's just like, oh, like it's sour, and you squint your eyes and all that stuff, but it's so good that you still keep going.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's I like that it's a low alcohol too, and that's so I give it to you because I'm like, probably gonna drink a little more, So
no, I appreciate that.
Out.
Yeah, because it's just to pace myself.
Yeah. So Jonathan's sitting here next to me, and we brewed this beer. We've brewed this beer a couple times, and this is another one of those things where it's like we've brewed it, we were confident with it, we really liked it, but we wanted it to be a little bit more sour. So when we were brewing it the last time, we're like, hey, let's try and get that pH a little bit lower on this batch and see if we can get it a little bit more tart, and we'll add a little bit more cherry to it. And so
where does that tart come from? Where does the sour come
It's
from?
lactic acid. So it's an acid that gets created from the bacteria in the beer. So basically when you hear the term sour beer, that term sour actually means sour, meaning like you're infecting the beer with some sort of bacteria that turns that beer sour. In this case, what happens is that turns into lactic acid, and that acid is what's giving you that low pH, that acidic, sour note in the beer.
What about the cherry flavor?
That comes from cherries. So
real
like
cherries.
just actual cherries. Yeah.
Yeah.
No hiding
These
behind
things
that.
called cherries.
Well, sometimes people fake the flavors.
Yeah. We use cherry.
It's actually virtual reality.
Fake it till you win.
We use food coloring. There's actually no cherries in there. It's just
By cherry, we mean
there's no cherries in there at all. It's just food coloring.
Just
red.
tart our face when we give it to you, just to give
So
you.
it's real cherries.
Yeah, we use a cherry puree. So we would use natural cherries, and that is a really great way to go. Unfortunately, natural cherries have a lot of other bacteria on them, so we use a puree that's already pasteurized. So we get it from fruit manufacturer that processes it. That comes to us processed, meaning it's pasteurized and sterile, so it doesn't infect the beer any further.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like a chemistry.
It's a lot of science.
Like a practice in chemistry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. How often do you guys screw up a batch?
Jonathan, how often do we screw up a batch?
I don't like to think that we ever do. I mean, I would say we experiment.
Call it experimental.
I'd say that we experiment on certain batches. You know, I mean,
Yeah. If there's ever a new beer name on the menu, you should maybe ask, hey, is this something you created, or was this a quote?
Adrian, just so you know, they're all supposed to be kinky blonde.
Yeah.
We've never made it intentionally an IPA.
No.
And then they've all...
We just accidentally put a lot of hops in.
I like the kinky blonde. I know the kinky blonde's been on the menu for quite a while, man.
Yeah, that's a staple. That beer is
seller,
so great, stable. It's one of our best sellers for sure. But yeah, to get back to your question on a serious note, like, yeah, we all make mistakes, and that's not necessarily on us as the brewers. It's on the ingredients and some environmental conditions and stuff that's out of our control. But we try and make the best of it. We will never put out a product that we're not standing behind. So if something that we make isn't to style or isn't something that we think is a product that is servable to our customers, or something that I wouldn't drink myself, we won't serve it. Right. We've only had to dump a batch of beer once or twice in the 3 years that we've been open here. And those were conditions that were out of our control.
How big is a batch? Just for reference.
So a batch today, I mean, a batch has changed over the years of us being open, but a batch today for us is a 15-barrel batch, which is still relatively small. So when I say 15 barrels, we're talking about 30 kegs. When you think about throwing a party at your house, you get a keg, you're having a kegger. That's called a half-barrel keg. So when we brew a batch, we're making 30 of those at a time.
Okay. That's still a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of beer.
Yeah. That's got to hurt.
It hurts. It's expensive to make beer. Yeah.
But can you make it in a smaller batch?
Yeah, certainly we can. We do have a pilot system here that can do 10, 15-gallon batches. We don't utilize it very often, but we do occasionally experiment with it, but not as often as we should.
Yeah.
We're here to take chances.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So in the cocktail world, there's a couple of formulas that you can use to create a good cocktail. Does the same thing apply for beer?
It does to some extent. Yeah. So our recipes, when we're doing recipe formulation, we do kind of follow a similar format where we have a certain percentage of base malt. We have a certain percentage of specialty malt, depending on what color and what flavor we're going for in the beer. So yeah, it does follow some of those same trends. The thing that differs a little bit for beer versus cocktails, that I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand on the surface, is that beer is something that takes a lot longer to make than a cocktail.
Okay.
And I'm not separating, that's different from like me, the spirits of the cocktail. Those all take a lot of time, but when we want to make a beer that tastes a certain way or come up with a recipe, that takes a lot of time for us. So we'll come up with that recipe, and maybe we'll follow some previous guidelines that we've made or make some differences to a previous batch. But what's unique about that is, or what's hard about that is that it takes a long time. So from the time that we make the beer to the time it's in the glass is anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you think about that, if you're at home and you're trying to like make a cake, you're trying to make different types of cake, like you can experiment in one night and make 3 or 4 different recipes, and like that's great. For us, if we want to make something, we try it out, and if it doesn't work, we have to go back to the drawing board, and it's another 3 to 4 weeks every time.
So if it doesn't go quite as planned, that's got to be super frustrating.
It's frustrating, and it's it's not as frustrating as it should be, because it's at the end of the day, it's just beer. We're making a product that we stand behind, and it's a good product. It's alcohol. So it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, like, the beer here is great. I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it again. I love Frogtown. I've told all of you guys this.
We love you.
And so support our boys down here at Frogtown. Yeah. And
Where
like
the 5 and a 2 freeways meet.
There you go.
In sunny Los Angeles.
Exactly it.
Yeah, and like every time I come down here, I'm always happy with everything about it, like the atmosphere, the service, the beer, everything about it. You guys are doing something that's really special here, and I think it's like super cool. When you guys choose what kind of beers that you're going to put out for the season, how does that come into play? I know that the pumpkin beer happens like during the fall.
Sure, yeah. There's
it's pumpkin.
Yeah, there's certain things that are just made for the seasons, right? That we brew for those seasons, like Oktoberfest and pumpkin beers, and we try and do something lighter for like Espresso Bias for the summer.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when people ask like, what kind of beers do you guys brew here at Frogtown Brewery, I always default to saying one thing. And that's, I brew the type of beers that I like to drink in the moment. So what you're seeing in the menu here at Frogtown Brewery today is a reflection of what my palate is and what I am interested in drinking today. So that's kind of a reflection of my personal palate. But yeah, we have other people like Jonathan who come in and have different styles, and Hector who works behind the bar, and he brings in some stuff that he's like, oh, you should, people are asking for this, or I really like this. And so we take those cues into play too. But we at the end of the day, we just brew the beers that we like to drink here at Frogtown as a collective. I don't know. What's your favorite beer to brew, Jonathan?
Yeah, that's going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I like a lot of stouts. So, when I got the opportunity to actually do the midnight breakfast, it was amazing because that's one of my favorite styles right now. And I can drink them even when it's hot outside because, the beer's still cold. So, and a lot of those roasty flavors, like drinking coffee essentially, but in a lighter, more, alcoholic way. This is a lot better for me.
Okay.
But I like brewing all styles too. So I mean IPAs, and we get a lot of feedback from our customers too. I feel like what kind of styles they like, and then like it's, at the end of the day though, it's a lot of the styles that we like to drink. I mean, I drink every day probably a different beer here because it's I never stick to one beer on tap because they're all so great.
Yeah, Jonathan and I are kind of behind the scenes. Hector and Mallory, Marco, Raina, they're all up front in the front of house, and they see all that stuff. So we're
watching you.
Yeah, they put us in check, and they also will say, hey, this is what customers are liking and what they're not. And so, I mean, I don't know what kind of feedback you get, but
yeah, it's I mean, you have your customers, your regulars, and then some of them, hey, let me try something new, or I'll just come up, hey, you want your usual? All right, you know what? Let me give you this. Let's see what you think.
Yeah.
And many times they're like, hey, you know what? It's probably my new favorite.
What is something that's on the menu today that was customer influenced?
As Gustavo says, yes.
The water jug.
Yeah.
So I think Gustavo and I can relate to this, and that's lights out. Like people were asking for a Pilsner, So our Czech style Pilsner is on tap, which hey, shout out. We just won an award for.
Nice.
Hey. Bronze coming in hot.
Yeah. That's pretty great.
You bring up an amazing point. We were on the customer end of a beer experience where the beer was amazing, but we had just had so much rich beer that we wanted something that was completely opposite to that. And we brought it up in a social setting, and other people chimed in and said, well, not other people, Adam's family, his sister and his cousin chimed in and was like, yeah, a good solid light beer, like Coors. From the Rocky Mountains, and then a couple other light beers.
I love how he stops and looks at me dead in the eyes and make sure I have the eye contact.
From the Rocky Mountains. Right. And we said, no, that's not quite what we mean, but along that genre of something light, crisp, but actually tastes really good.
Yeah.
And we hadn't seen it at that moment, which was a couple years now, almost a year and a half, in the craft beer world. So we wanted to produce something that was clean, crisp, light, and for LA purposes, low in calories.
Yeah.
And we did it, and to Adam's credit,
we
use a strong word.
Like, a low-cal beer is like an oxymoron, right?
Yeah, it's no such thing.
Yeah. Lower.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I want to talk about this Painkiller because one of the things that I saw in the graphic was Tiki Series.
Yeah.
So let's talk about
Hey.
that.
What's a series?
What's this Tiki Series that
Everybody be quiet.
That's not
I
Tiki.
saw on the graphic?
Someone was reading the graphic. Yeah.
Someone reads.
Yeah.
Adrian's a smart one in the room.
yeah, I wish.
So Adam and I have been friends for probably 5 years or so now, five and some change, and part of our friendship revolved around heavy drinking. So
As many
friendships
Yeah.
do,
As they should.
and a lot of that revolved around heavy drinking at tiki bars.
Yeah,
So we sort of
I don't remember if I met Adam here first or if I met him at Tiki Tea.
probably tiki tea
Probably
at some
Tiki
point.
Tea.
Hey, that's probably best if you don't remember.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
You know why?
That's exactly what we're talking
because
about right
it's
now.
heavy drinking.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so we had that as a an affection, and then that was it. We didn't really. I didn't associate it with beer, and we just kind of kept cruising along. And at some point, when we were talking about what new beers can be made, Adam mentioned earlier he had an affinity for the Painkiller cocktail, and that sprung into a whole thing of like, let's do a series of drinks with collaborating with whoever makes sense.
yeah.
And then that's the series, and we're about to launch that in the near future.
We've
Well,
got some things in the works.
Yes.
We'll say.
I'm not going to say what it is because I asked Mike and Mike told me.
Yeah. Hey.
So I
There's
won't,
some
I
really
won't
great
Mike,
things
don't,
coming.
nobody ask Mike, please. Don't look for Mike. Don't ask him.
I won't say because I'm not in a position to say, but
Please note, Mike is not here.
Mike is not here. So, but let's just say that it's exciting. So that there's a few things that,
Absolutely.
at least what I know, is exciting.
Yeah, we've got some really great things coming down the pipe and some really great collaborations that are going to be coming up too. So we're really excited about that.
Okay, so speaking of collaborations, how does the Desert Oasis Room get a collaboration on that? Because I'd love to do something with you guys.
Hey, let's do it. I'm in.
You're
You can
our
work behind the bar with
go-to.
me.
What's that?
You can work behind the bar with me.
We need somebody. We need someone to get our glassware.
Can I play with that little thing that goes? Psst,
Oh,
psst,
definitely.
Yeah, you got
the glass on?
Glass rinser. Yeah.
Little rinser.
You wash your hands on that thing?
The fountain.
Sometimes, yeah.
I tried it
Wash your
one
face.
I
time.
used to work at a coffee shop. We used to have that too. So the best part.
The hand rinser.
Yep.
Don't try it when customers are around. It's
No. It's got it on some people's faces.
Oh, does it really?
They're not
We may
so
have
bad.
video of
Oh my god.
the.
Yeah, so
the
some really
spindle.
funny, real quick spin off from that. So that that bottle rinser that you're talking about, it's this I don't know how to describe it for listeners that are listening, but there's this cylindrical glass rinser. You basically push a glass upside down onto, and it sprays water up into the glass to rinse off any residue. So it just makes the glass really beer clean, and that's what we're going for here.
And a slight chill too. Is
And
that-
a slight chill
Yeah.
chills the glass, makes it beer clean. Anyway, so there's this cylindrical thing that you push the glass down onto. Well, occasionally it will unspin itself after hours and hours, and
Oh, really?
hundreds of presses. It will unspin itself and randomly, like Hungry Hippo, attack you and just shoot off, and it unscrews itself, and then water will spray everywhere, and you'll just become
You gotta manually
completely
turn it off,
soaked.
yeah, because it'll keep running.
Yeah,
That's
so and it's
hilarious.
just hooked up to the water line, like a direct water line. So it will just start spraying the
get
guests that
doused.
are sitting in the bar, the bar itself, the back
we
wall.
we
everything.
may have a YouTube channel devoted just to that.
We do have some videos of Mallory and Hector both getting
that's hilarious.
sprayed by this thing after
Crazy
it
daisy.
decides to shoot off. So yeah, it's
Especially
pretty
when I wear
exciting.
just one shirt, you know. It's
Yeah.
So now that you guys are doing a Tiki series, are there any plans for a mug to go with that series?
We've we had a glass release today, but we're also looking at doing some mugs. So we've been looking into that.
Based on the sales of our Painkiller IPA, we may be able to afford said Tiki
you go.
mug.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, we would
So,
love that. We would love that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
I think you should make a Vajanko mug.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh man.
Tune into the next
I don't know,
episode
I have
of
no
the
idea what that
Vajanko.
Oh, Jonathan doesn't
Jonathan
know
doesn't
about the
actually know what
Vajanko.
that is.
Jonathan doesn't know the Vajanko. So
no idea what
I'll tell you this. Hector knows the Vajanko.
Oh, I know
So,
the Vajanko.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Hector
this.
is
You
the
can
Vajanko.
get
One.
you can get a Vajanko mug.
Are you serious?
I'm
Oh, that is
serious.
amazing.
It's an actual
Oh my
Serious.
God.
I'm serious.
Are we going
and
there
it's
right
tiki.
now?
Are we going to have to battle them for that?
It's tiki.
The Vajanko.
No. John Mulder makes it.
Oh, amazing!
And so it's
I just met
actually
him, by the way, at Hookah
It's a
Lounge.
John
That's
Mulder design that the Reef puts their logo on, which I'm sure that you could work out some kind of a licensing deal,
For
right?
sure.
And
We're
for
in.
so should we tell Jonathan?
We
about
should
this?
tell Jonathan because Jonathan has been here for I don't know how long have you been here now, Jonathan?
Since February this year.
6
So
months.
I'm still new. I feel like
We haven't tried.
smells like a new car.
Jangle yet. Yeah, I guess.
Oh my God.
Yeah, clue him in.
I'm excited. Who should? I feel
I
like
guess.
No,
yeah.
Adrian's got to say.
I feel like the guy who wants to tell the punchline.
Adrian's got to tell the story.
I think
No, I
Adrian
can't
has-
tell the
Please,
punchline.
please.
I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
I think what you need to know is that this place, before it was a brewery,
Made a
they
lot of
made.
Wait. You got to back up and tell the story of how you figured that out.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes,
well, yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah, for sure. So we knew going into this though what the old building was, and it was they made life size
Ish.
a little bit,
Sort
right?
of, yeah.
So like Gustavo
life
helped
size.
find
What?
this place. They made life size. Oh,
Yes.
you're on the edge of your seat
Yes,
now.
they did.
I am.
They made life size sex dolls.
No.
That's not
So
what
just
they
to be
prefer to be
clear,
called.
we knew that there was some sort of adult toy manufacturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we found out, to Adrian's point, that what it specifically was one of the many late nights where we were punchy and tired and maybe drunk.
No, you got to check.
Uh-oh.
You got to check.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
That's what
I-
happened.
Yeah. No, I'm getting there.
check.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Yeah, so
one of those
But wait,
drunk
there's
punchy
more.
one of those
nights.
drunk nights. So we used to.
Yeah.
So there was a company that used to live here, or not live here. They,
I'm sure they did.
They actually, I think, lived here too. But they occupied this space, and their business. We get a lot of their mail, and we still do to this day. Get a lot of adult mail here.
That's some lube if you guys want to. We have a jar
That
of
explains
lube.
the jar of lube. I was looking for tools.
And by lube, he means Painkiller IPA.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
lubrication.
Yeah, but yeah, so we got a lot of their mail, and we got an envelope addressed to the previous tenant, and we didn't open it because that's illegal. But what's not illegal is to hold it up to the light and see what it says inside. And so we did that, and on the memo line of this check that was addressed to the previous tenant was the amount of the, it said the amount of the check, and then it said in the memo line what it was for, and it was for a product called the Vajankle.
If I may interject,
Yeah, go ahead.
The check was made out for
It was
$272,
$300, yeah.
and and change.
right.
Yeah. expensive and weird, like $270, $283 or something. It's
Vajankle.
like
We
so
didn't really
weird.
think much of
Plus
it
tax, plus
We
tax.
did not. We did
Yeah.
not. It's like whatever.
until we had a few drinks in us. Then we decided to look up what that product was.
Google that shit.
Yeah, we googled that shit for sure.
Okay.
Everybody turn on your private modes and Google Vajankle on your
Vajankle.
phones.
Yeah, just
Turn on.
Put it on airplane mode.
just put it on
with a
airplane
G.
mode.
With a G.
Yeah, with a G.
Vajankle.
Yeah.
And
not a J.
yeah,
With a
I
V.
won't
with a
describe it
G.
here, but yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna. This is where the advertisers jump in,
Right.
and you guys
There's
take
some
time.
dude out there
Blue
who's
Apron?
making vajankles who's going to get a spike in orders.
You
right
too
now.
can advertise here.
Few advertising credits here. Yeah.
So, did you see this photo right here?
Yeah. I've seen
just
it.
did.
Not that photo, but I've seen other photos.
So this
That's
is
a cool mug.
I like that idea of that
Yeah.
mug.
Yeah.
right. So you got to do a vajankle mug.
like
but what you got to do? So like the mug would be cool to pour beers and stuff into, but if you put a fleshlight in it,
Adrian,
Dual purpose.
Adrian is way too excited about this right now.
after we did that
I mean,
last
that would
episode,
go with the name.
Yes.
I almost bought one of these for the novelty of it.
I want to buy one now. Yeah.
Right,
Do you
see?
think Mulder would give us a group discount? I'm thinking so.
That
You
would
get hired at
fit
Frogtown
with
Brewery.
with
We'll
Right
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
put the Frogtown logo right
Oh,
on
for
top,
sure.
right?
I'm in.
That's all I'm saying.
I want to go to the reef just for that.
Go to the reef. So anyway, I
On the shoulders of giants, as they say. That's what Frogtown is.
so there you go.
So
party
Tiki Series. So it says to the guy.
Yeah, Tiki.
people. So Tiki Series, the Jankle mugs, hopefully for the Tiki Series, right?
a good
Different
idea.
color for every new drink.
Speaking of which, we can say it now. So we're just winding down. Last call's over. Folks are starting to head out of our Painkiller release party. And our next collaboration is with the Vatos Hutiki.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. That's it.
There you go.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. So that'll be fun beer.
No, the spring.
Oh yeah, spring. That'll be a fun one.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Wait till you see what we have in store.
There you go. All right, and then the next one after that, Desert Oasis Room.
Sure, it can hurt. It might help.
Let's do a Desert Oasis from one. We'll do
can
something
certainly
with
do that.
something that's desert inspired.
Well, so as they say, nothing in life is free.
Yeah.
You will need to host the crew at your
I will host the crew.
amazing home bar.
Inside.
I would love
the
to go
Desert
inside
Oasis room.
sometime.
Actually, I do.
He's a married man, actually, but-
I should have you guys over sometime.
That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how these collaborations usually spring up. It's us having an experience outside of the brewery, which we rarely get to do, especially Adam and Jonathan.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah, and then once you get that energy, you sort of get reinvigorated with sort of these flavors or people's perceptions.
So I'll tell
of
you
them.
this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. You guys come to the Desert Oasis room. I'll make you cocktails, and maybe we can get a flavor inspired from those cocktails.
Absolutely.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
that?
Not a bad idea.
Sold.
How about that? So, with that said, I want to thank Frogtown Brewery for allowing Inside the Desert Oasis Room to podcast from the headquarters of Frogtown Brewery right here in Frogtown, Los Angeles. And it's called Frogtown because there was a time when a certain part of the year frogs would come out of the LA River and they would blanket this part of town.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The water levels will go up high enough. Yep.
Hector grew up here, so he can comment on that for sure.
Yep.
I remember. So when I was younger, this is a story that I tell most of the customers that ask.
All 7 years of his life has been here.
So I am now 17 years old. I'm playing. I'm 23. Yes. So where was I? Yeah. Thank you. Ladies.
There you go.
23, 73. It's all the same, baby. All right. So we traveled a lot. When I was younger, my parents are from El Salvador. I went to their motherland. Like every year we'd go. It was for the summer. I remember my dad would pull out the van in their driveway. All you hear is all those frogs. They were actually toads. I'm sorry.
Toads.
But if you see a toad, you see a frog.
Same thing.
You're gonna call it a frog.
Yeah.
So and my parents would always say, "Hey, in our garden they would be there when it would rain. Like, hey, don't look at that. They're gonna throw milk at you." That was their way of not letting me play with the frogs.
Yeah.
But it was.
That doesn't happen anymore, huh?
God no. I heard frogs like a year or two ago at nighttime, and I was freaked out.
Yeah.
It was it's been years since I've heard a frog.
Hopefully they come back.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Hopefully.
We need a frog here at the brewery.
That's
We
it.
need a terrarium.
That's exactly.
Well, I like the logo. It's the logo of the frog on the
Yeah,
big
it's
wheel
great
of the
logo.
beer. So, for all our listeners that want to find Frogtown Brewery, let's throw out the address.
2931 Gilroy Street.
2931 Gilroy Street
Los
in
Angeles,
Los Angeles,
California.
where the 5 and
And the two freeways
freeways
meet off of the intersection Fletcher and Riverside. That was a remix for you
And
guys.
follow Frogtown Brewery, please.
At Frogtown Beer.
Frogtown Beer.
At Frogtown Beer. Not Frogtown Brewery, at Frogtown Beer on Instagram. Follow them on Facebook. And come down and get some beer. Right now, I think you've got a bunch of the Painkiller in 4-packs, right?
Yeah, we've got a handful of 4-packs left. We've only got a little bit left, but yeah, we've got
still quite a bit
some
to-
back.
yeah.
We got some left, so it should last us for a couple weeks or so. So yeah, come on out.
Very cool. All right. Thanks. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or just want to leave a shout out, stop by our group page on Facebook, Inside the Desert Oasis Room. You can follow us at Polynesian Pop or come down to Frogtown Brewery and shout out Inside the Desert Oasis Room, and I'll buy you a beer. How's that?
Deal.
That sounds great.
Beer for friends,
I'm gonna
right?
shout
Beer
it
for
out.
Friends board.
Look for the name.
You
on the
guys are on it.
wall.
Yeah, all right. Come down and get a beer on the podcast and support our boys at Frogtown Brewery. And take home a 4-pack. You won't regret it. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it, brother.
Aloha.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Aloha.
Sir?